Look, I'm unstoppable. Forget your defense, nothing but an obstacle. Run it back, switch it up, call it audible. Serving up them Hail Marys till the game over with the showstopper. So hot, you gotta blow on it. I said I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll pass to my left while I'm looking to my right. Hit him right in the chest. It be looking like magic. Better give me the throne. I ain't talking about Patrick, but I rep my home. I'm never at the end of my zone. I'm bad to the bone. Eating up these pig skins like they chicharrones. And you a douche cabron. Mira, mira at the mirror on the wall. I'm the greatest of them all. They gon' put me in the hall. Your name is only written in a bathroom stall. Quit your stalling and make a play. My drive too long. Pop the clutch. I don't pop the
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Texans Fan Battle Podcast. I'm your host, Matthew Briggs, and always I got my co-host with me, my A1 since day one, Mr. Crenshaw. Say what's up to the folks.
What's the deal, everybody? What's the deal?
We're back after a little break, well needed. Today we got a special guest from the Touring of the AFC South, Nashville Times, correct, and the Titans Wire. We have Mr. Mike Patton.
What's going on, man? Actually, never mind. But hey, it's all good.
Do I need to be corrected? Go ahead. Did I miss it? We want to make sure we get it right.
No, it's my mistake, man.
Okay.
I'm not actually writing for the Titans Wire anymore, but I am doing Nashville Voice and the Tennessee Tribune as well.
Okay. Well, it's their loss, you know. And Titans always, losing the key, please. Well, before we jump into the main reason why we're here, let's break in some NFL news today. We had two lost in the NFL. Mr. Ferguson from the Ravens, 26, I believe, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
And they do not know what happened, but they do believe it was an accidental overdose so far. Am I wrong? Am I wrong on that one, or have they not disclosed anything? No,
I don't know.
Yeah.
It seems like they're keeping hush hush on this one so far, but I can totally understand, especially being 26 years old. And we had a guy who actually played for the Colts in the AFC South. I can't say his name. Tony
Saragusa.
Saragusa. There you go. I couldn't do it. They called him Big Moose, right?
I can't remember his nickname, but I definitely remember him celebrating on the Titans field a few times.
He was also an NFL commentator, which he did some good work on that too. So, prayers, condolences to the family. It's always tough. One was 26, one was 55. So, it can come whenever. So, prayers to the families and friends. We know it's rough. Other breaking news, again, it's kind of related to the AFC South. Mr. Deshaun Watson, man, it seems like we talk about him every day on our podcast. I don't know about you, Mike, but it's been a subject we just can't get away from it. When we finally think, all right, no more Watson, here he goes. Yesterday he broke that he settled with 20 out of 26 cases, or 24 cases, I'm sorry. Mike, I'll start with you. What do you think is the game plan? What was the reasoning behind this? Because remember, he said he's out to clear his good name. So, what do you think?
Honestly, I think he's trying to settle these cases so he can either get back on the field or get a verdict from the NFL. That's the only thing I can think of at this point, because for someone to say they're going to clear their name and then end up settling, I mean, that just seems odd. You would think he would want to stay and clear his name if he was innocent, like he mentioned he was. But, one thing I do think of is that I could probably see that probably happen is his lawyers may have told him at the beginning that he may want to settle, but he didn't want to settle, and now he got to this point and he had to settle. That's just kind of the vision I got of the whole thing.
Do you think the Browns front offices had some words to say to him as well?
Whatever has been said has probably already been said about him to him, and they probably already talked about it. So obviously they're picking up other quarterbacks, so they're pretty sure they're probably going to miss him for some games. So they're comfortable with taking the risk and bringing him on. So that's their issue to deal with at this point.
I'm glad because that means a higher draft pick for the Texans. But that's different type of stuff. But what I've been hearing also is they were talking 60 games for him for the suspension. Crenshaw, what's your thoughts on it? Is that the reason why he settled?
Yeah. He first of all, he should have settled last year. He should have got all this stuff out the way last year, and he could have been playing already, or getting ready to play. And if he would have settled last year, we would have got more stuff off the trade. I feel like he screwed us by prolonging and everything. But somebody got in his ear and say, bro, look, you got to do something, bro. You can't keep saying, I'm innocent. It's too many women. So he finally woke up. I don't know if his mama got on him. I don't know if his girl got on him.
It was Jack Easterby. It
could have been Jack. I don't know. It could have been somebody, but I just feel like that, he need to get suspended. It need to be more than a year. To me, it should be at least 25 games because I say 25 games is fair. Suspend them, get back out there, then get on the field, show people who you once were. They claim you're top three, show them you're top three. Make Cleveland that team that they think that they're going to be with you. So that's what he need to do right now. Stop. He can't live on the past. I hate when people bring up the past about him, what he did with us. He didn't really do something that we've already seen. So don't bring up what he did over here. Let's see what he can do in Cleveland.
Now, Mike, what two questions for you. What do you think the suspension will be? And what do you want the suspension to be?
Honestly, I think the suspension is going to be at minimum about 8 games, maximum about 12 is what I think will end up happening. As far as what I would like to see, probably a whole year, at least a whole year. And to the people that always say, well, he sat out a whole year last year and things like that. But the two things you forget, he decided to do that. They didn't tell him to do that.
Thank you.
I've been
arguing with that.
Yeah, it drives me nuts when people say, well, he sat out, that should count as time served. No, he decided to do so. He basically, in effect, sat because they didn't trade him. So that doesn't count as time served. Sorry, it doesn't.
Yeah. They even said, hey, we would like you to play. He said no. So that's his fault. His fault he didn't play.
Right.
They tried to make a trade with the Dolphins midseason. It was his fault that it didn't happen. So everything last year was on him. So I agree with that. Crenshaw, Mike, anything you want to add before we move on from the Deshaun Watson story case?
I just wanted to be over with so we could stop, talking about it. And it's been over a year, and we're still talking about it on the podcast, on Twitter, in the barbershop, on text messages, on group chats. Like, I'm sick of talking about it, man. I want to just be done with it, man. I mean, the girls could be lying and they could be telling the truth, but I mean, I don't think everybody is lying on him. I mean, he probably did some type of weird things, maybe some of the stuff he might didn't do, but he shouldn't have had that many masseuses. Should have stuck with the team one, and he wouldn't be in this predicament. All the extracurricular activities he was doing, taking tables and all that. That didn't make any sense to me.
All right.
Mike,
for me, I mean, you've got a total of about 66 women, I believe, is what the total was.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody I know, and I'm a former athlete myself, I played all the way through college. I'm a creature of habit. So if I like something and one thing in terms of like one masseuse or one, type of treatment or something like that, I'm going to stick with that one treatment. I'm not going to go to 60 or 70 people for the same treatment because it may be different. It may be something I don't like. So when you have that many people and, that many things that come up, there's got to be something there. There's no way there's nothing there. There's no way that 24 women are all lying. The probabilities of that are slim and none. There's more probabilities of me winning the lottery twice in a month then all those people are being lying. All those women lying.
Yeah.
Agreed 100. Before I do move on to the next subject, I got to ask you, with you looking in as a Titans commentator and having the AFC South podcast, do you believe personally that the Houston Texans set him up?
No, I don't believe that.
Thank you.
I honestly looked into that. I mean, I've thought about it, and I have friends that still believe it and things like that because the owner knows the lawyer and all those different things. And I'm like, look, this is the same guy that had a poster up wanting Johnny Manziel to come to Houston and play for the Texans. And I don't think that went over well with the actual ownership. So, no, I don't think that happened. And the Texans would be quite stupid to mess around and try to line up themselves with this lawyer, knowing the implications, because that they would lose their team doing that.
I just don't figure out how would that have been possible anyway. Like, so they told him to DM the girls. Like, as I'm saying, it didn't make sense. Like, how? So they say, okay, DM the girls, and we're still going to pay you the money. If you want to play with us, you can play with us. If not, we'll try to trade you, and we'll set you up. I mean, everything's not making sense to me when people said that. It's just a coincidence. I mean, he's a lawyer that got a lot of people off, so of course they're gonna go there, and he's gonna go here. But I don't think they set him up at all.
Well, the fact is they said that they know each other, but they live in the same neighborhood.
But it was the daddy, right? It was the dad, right? Not the son, right?
Right. Just because I live in the same neighborhood as Mike Tyson doesn't mean I know the guy.
I don't talk to my neighbors.
Right, exactly. So that is just it's confusing. Confusing.
Cracks me up, man.
Yeah, it does.
And like you said, like Mike said, okay, now Mike, how many people do your dreads?
One person.
How many people cut your hair?
One person.
So when we like something, we stick with it. We don't go on and on because if somebody mess up, we pee off. So that right there makes him weird. And by him being African American, we take that stuff to the heart on people that do stuff to us. We don't go here, and there. So, golly, man, I wish the outcome would have been better. And we were talking about something else right now, but he just messed it all up. And then all the negative energy that we got over the last year or so, it just really just piss you off, man. Just people just saying all kind of stupid crap, man. Golly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you know it. The conspiracy theorists are in rare form.
Oh, with tinfoil and all, man. Tinfoil and all. You would be surprised what comes on Texans Twitter. It makes you just...
I've been watching.
Terrible. Well, let's gladly move on to the Titans and Texans matchup. This offseason has been kind of a weird one for the Titans. Would you agree? I mean, you got rid of your best receiver to draft a rookie. Got rid of somewhat a good linebacker. Spent a little bit more money to get another linebacker, and you picked up Austin Hooper. Mike, I'll let you. I mean, you're the expert on here. Tell us how was your offseason so far for the Titans?
Honestly, the offseason's been a little uneven. The reason why I say that is because you lose your best receiver on offense. However, you bring in an upgrade at tight end and an upgrade in a rookie in Chig Okonkwo as well, by the way, who has looked very good in training camp. But and then at wide receiver, of course, you go with Treylon Burks, who didn't practice at all in minicamp, by the way. He actually was doing more exercising and things like that on the bike than he actually was practicing. So that's another note. But that's a little interesting thing to watch as well. And a lot of Titans fans are kind of a little, a little uneasy and concerned about him. He apparently has an asthma issue. So and the weather here, with the humidity and things like that, that's kind of getting to him a little bit. But Robert Woods coming along, so that was another acquisition that nobody really talks about. But if he gets back,
I totally forgot about that one. Yeah,
he definitely was a big guy.
It was in the ACL or MCL?
Yes, tore his ACL in November, and he's actually been practicing Every time I've been there, I went to OTAs and I went to a day of mini camp, and he's been out there the entire time. He does team drills. He, of course, wears a yellow jersey, but he has been out there in team drills as well. So he's actually making the full practice. It's just about him getting back to the speed he was in terms of, being able to cut and plant off his knee as fluidly as he used to, which I will say you can tell a little bit he's still kind of getting the strength back in that knee. But, I mean, he's come a long way since November to where he is now. But, yeah, a lot of, I would say, an uneven off season. But one thing I will tell you is the players they drafted, they kind of remind you of all the players of yesteryear that played for the Titans maybe a couple years ago, 2-3 years ago, perhaps. I mean, if you would like, I can explain.
Yeah. Are you talking about before the Isaiah Wilson mixtape, or?
Well, that guy was wild, man. That guy was wild. He was going to parties over at Tennessee State, like while he was actually in up here in Nashville. So that's where he got in trouble. I think he was over there like twice at Tennessee State at parties, man. But
yeah, go ahead. Explain to us what were you elaborate on what we were talking about.
As far as the guys, they got rid of AJ Brown, which that's a he said type of situation. Which one person says they didn't pay me this, and another person says, well, he asked for too much. We'll never know the full truth of that, and it's over and done with and gone. And he's in Philly now. So, but you bring in Treylon Burks, who kind of mimics him. He's just a little bit bigger. So those two kind of mimic each other. Then you have Chig Okonkwo, I'm sorry. You bring him from the University of Maryland, and he actually mimics Jonnu Smith, who was here before he went to New England. They're very, very identical. You can kind of move Chig around in the offense to wide receiver a little bit, split him out. I mean, he could potentially run the football as well. I mean, you never know, but he's definitely very, very similar to Jonnu Smith. And then you got Kyle Phillips, you drafted from from UCLA, who kind of mimics Adam Humphries. And what do all three of these guys have in common? In terms of Adam Brown, mimicking Jonnu Smith, and mimicking Humphries. They all three of those players that I mentioned that they mimic were around when Ryan Tannehill had his best year as a Titan. Something to think on.
Okay. So I take it that you're not on the Malik Willis hype train, or you still want to give Tannehill a little bit more time?
I'll say this. This is the way I see it. I don't know any. I haven't talked to any Titans facility or coaches or anything like that about my own theory. But my theory is that Tannehill is here for one more year. Malik Willis, I've definitely seen him practice, and I've watched him, and he's improved from rookie camp to OTAs, and he's definitely improved those different things. And mini camp as well. He definitely improved. But of course, he's still got to learn. And the thing is, he's never took a snap under center in college at Liberty. So now he has to learn, take a snap under center, the verbiage. What one word he mentioned is kind of taking order of the offense and kind of getting that in order and making sure that things go right. And, he's getting the play out fluidly and everybody knows what they're doing. And if not, he can kind of direct them to it. So he's still getting to those points. He's very, very charismatic guy, very, very positive guy. So I think he'll eventually be the guy. And I think him and Chig Okonkwo will kind of jump up into that number one role or close to it by the time next year rolls around. I think Ryan Tannehill is going to have a good year. However, if the Titans were to cut him this offseason, he would have had a $38 million cap hit. So that is the reason why he is still here. So that's why I think he'll still be the Titans quarterback for this year. Next year, I think they move on to Malik Willis, unless the Titans win the Super Bowl or go to the Super Bowl. That'd be about the only reason I would say that Ryan Tannehill will be back next year, in my opinion.
Okay. Well, before we jump on to we got a question from the group. Do you think taking a snap under center is a big deal? ?
Well, when you're doing a quarterback sneak, you can't do it in the shotgun. You got to be able to take it up under center. So definitely it's a big deal. Definitely it's a big deal with the Titans because, of course, they do run the football from under the center a lot with Derrick Henry. So, yes, it's a huge deal for the Tennessee Titans.
All right. Well, Crenshaw, what do you, before we move on to the Texans offseason, what do you think of the Titans offseason? And did Mike hit the nail on the head?
Yeah, he did. I just got two questions from Mike. Mike, all right, question number one. How did you feel about A.J. Brown saying he's the best wide receiver in Titans history? How did you feel about that? And do you believe he is the best?
Okay, well, the answer is we're going to be pretty quick. I felt that he is not the best wide receiver in Titans history. The best wide receiver in Titans history is Derrick Mason, who actually played for the Texans as well. But he, to me, not Derek, but AJ Brown was. Titans fans are doing a lot, or have been doing a lot in terms of trying to poke at him on social media, and I think he had had enough and kind of went back at them. But then in his spirit of going back at them, he kind of got a little overzealous and said he's the best receiver in Titans history, which I don't think he believes that. And we surely know Derek Mason doesn't believe that because Derek Mason, I believe, talked on it on radio here in 102.5 The Game in Nashville. So he actually is on radio in Nashville here, by the way. And as far as AJ Brown, what was the second question what was the second question? I apologize, I don't remember.
Oh no, well, I was just saying, like, how did you feel about what he said, and do you think he is? And you said no, he's not. So, but how did you feel about what he said, though? You know, besides what the fans was what you call it? What's the word I'm looking for? What the fans was doing?
Agitating him,
trolling him.
Yeah,
so fans trolling him. Yeah, so how did you feel about it? Like when you read it or got the alert on your phone that AJ Brown said that, like. How was you? Like, where were you at the moment, you know?
Well, honestly, I was, I don't remember exactly where I was, but I remember looking at it and I was like, man, that's Derek Mason, ain't you? That's the first thing I thought when I saw it. But, but other than that, I was like, yeah, the fans have probably been going at him. And the thing I don't like about some fans that are going at him, they've got to learn to move on. It's over. He's gone. Players leave. Contracts don't finish. Teams are not loyal. Players are not loyal. Nobody is loyal. Loyalty in sports is a fallacy. It's not true. It never has been true. So please, fans, stop all the what about being loyal? What about being? Stop it. It's
Texans
not true.
Fans, y'all hear that? Texans fans,
right? That's what I was about to say.
Golly, y'all hear that? Oh, hold on, man. Okay, so one more. How long do you think Henry has left in the tank?
Ooh, good question.
I'll tell you this. He looks pretty dang big this offseason. I saw him in person, and wow.
Look like a Mack truck.
He looks huge. He could block the sun. But one thing that I noticed about him, and I have to give credit to Teron Davenport. He actually has a show on the airwaves here in Nashville as well. But I listen to the podcast version of it. But anyway. He did say something that did happen while he was actually in the media, talking to media at practice, which I was there for that too. He actually got questions about his foot, and you could tell he got agitated about it, which Derrick Henry really doesn't get agitated when people talk to him about stuff. So you could tell he said, the foot's good. He said, I was like, oh boy. And then, one thing Teron pointed out, he didn't turn down playing in the preseason either, which usually he doesn't really play in the preseason. So that was another thing. And also another thing too, it just seemed like he felt like, okay, since I got hurt last year, this the feeling that we get, that I got at least. It just seems like, since he got hurt last year, it's almost like people are forgetting about him, like kind of sort of, the song reference, like kind of like they forgot about Dre. But he's kind of trying to remind people, hey, I'm still here. I'm still the back. So I think he may have more of the years than what you would think. Plus, also, you got to remember the first 2 years he was here in Nashville, he didn't have he had DeMarco Murray. So he really wasn't the lead back. So I think he's got at least maybe 3-4 more years, I believe.
But he still got a lot of carries though. The last couple of years, man, a lot of carries, man.
So, are you
Definitely
predicting
does.
another 2K season, or is that a wrap?
I'm not predicting another 2,000-yard season, but I wouldn't put it past them to get 17 or 1,800 yards this year.
Oh, okay. Well, you hear that, fantasy players? Take it to the bank. Well, Crenshaw, Texans all season we had the biggest news, like we talked about earlier. We got rid of the biggest drama queen in NFL. We got rid of Deshaun Watson, which I think we got. I think we won this trade. I think we fleeced him, especially if he gets suspended for a year to 2 years, his whole career, whatever. I think we got that one. But we picked up Marlon Mack from the Colts, which was a good one. We didn't pick up a lot of big namers, which we don't have to, but we did keep a lot of players like Gruger Hill, Malik Collins, King. We're bringing back pieces that were solid
Chris
from last
Conley.
year. Chris Conley. So, Crenshaw, break down the offseason in your opinion. What was it? What do you think was good, bad, even?
Well,
I feel like it was I feel like it was okay. It wasn't like I really wasn't expecting too much this offseason because we still in the rebuild mode. Now next offseason I'm expecting more because we're gonna have more money in the cap and we're gonna know is Mills the franchise or we're gonna get one of those quarterbacks that's coming out of college next year. So actually this year really is not even much a make or break year for the Texans fans because no matter what, we're gonna get a franchise quarterback. We're either gonna have one or gonna get one. But the offseason, I like the Jerry Hughes signing. I like that guy. I mean, he killed us in the playoffs, so that always come to my mind or whatnot. But I feel like we got solid pieces. I think we want to win more than what we won last year, 4 games. I'm still looking at 7-10, 7-10. But I won't be surprised if we still pick up Jimmy Garoppolo though, man. I feel like if he's gonna find his way on this team. It's like it's itching Nick to go get him, man. I think it's gonna happen, man. I think
boy.
I was a big fan of this draft. I thought this was probably behind the Jets, and one more team I can't put my name on. I thought the Texans had top 5 draft easily. Yeah, there was a lot of questions about injuries with Mechie and Stingley. But if these guys are at 100%, I mean, you got to say this was a great draft. Mike, do you agree or do you disagree? How do you view the Texans draft?
Let's see. I didn't expect them to take Stingley as high as they did, but I did talk to somebody down there that's very familiar with the team, and of course the talk was Stingley was the guy. So missed on that one. I thought they would go offense. I thought they'd take Evan Neal first, and then they would take a defensive player later. But of course, they kind of switched the order of that one and took offensive lineman last in the first round, and then took Stingley. So hopefully they get the Stingley of his freshman year and not the last 2 years of injured basically injured time on the field.
Yeah.
So me and you both, brother. Me and you both. I hope that.
I hear you. I hear you there. Now, I will tell you. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I will tell you that John Mechie, he was definitely incredible at Alabama until he got injured, of course. Amazing that 2 Alabama wide receivers that tore their ACL went in the first round. Go figure. But, it was interesting just to see him get picked up. And I definitely think if he's healthy, he'll definitely be another option beside Brandon Cooks, who I think is the best wide receiver in the AFC South.
Hold on. I need you to say that one more time. Can you say that one more time? We got an AFC South group on Facebook. I'll add you onto it later. But we got a lot of people who say that Pittman and Woods are better than Cooks as of right now.
I'm going to say it again. Brandon Cooks is the best wide receiver in the AFC South. I'll tell you why, if you want to hear.
Go ahead.
All right. Robert Woods, I like Robert Woods, but, name me a player that's had 1,000-yard seasons on every single team he's been on. That would be Mr. Brandon Cooks. Okay, name me. Let's see, Pittman. I like Pittman, but Pittman, he's going to be the number one this year. Is he ready for that? Can he show up when the bright lights happen? I think Mr. I think Mr. Cooks will definitely be the guy, and he'll definitely be the best wide receiver in the AFC South. He's the best wide receiver right now. It could change, of course, but right now I'm saying he's the best wide receiver in the AFC South. I mean, people can tell me I'm wrong, tell me I don't know what I'm talking about, whatever they want, but I live in Nashville, Tennessee, and I'm not biased towards any single team in football or the AFC South. I just call it as I see it, and pretty much he gets it done every single year. He had no quarterback a couple years ago and still got 1,000 yards. Tell me another player in the AFC South that did so. I'll wait.
Yeah.
Well,
true.
You also got Jags fans saying that Christian Kirk is better than Mr. Cook.
No.
So I mean,
he's better at the bank. He's better at the bank.
Right. He's better at robbing. What you're saying? Huh? Still.
Well, I ain't go that far, but hey, I'll say at the bank, yeah, he's definitely better than Brandon Cooks.
Well, we got a comment saying Caserio drafts outside in, always been like that. Is that a fair assessment?
I wouldn't say necessarily it's a fair assessment, but I would say that's a Lovie Smith assessment, because Lovie Smith definitely builds from he's looking at what he has, and hey, I need corners, I need a safety, which is literally two of the top picks he made was a corner and a safety. So from that aspect, yes. Offensively, I would say he probably did kind of dig a little bit in the offensive line there, but I do have a bone to pick with the Texans in terms of their draft, though.
Oh yeah, what's that?
Which part?
That would be defensive line pressure. Who's bringing the pressure? I know they drafted a guy there. I know they drafted a linebacker out of Alabama. I know all those things, but can you give me one guy that can say, hey, I can depend on that guy to even get close to 10 sacks for me? Can Jerry Hughes be that guy, or is Jerry Hughes maybe over the hill?
Jonathan Grenard.
I hear you there. I understand. But
and then you got then we picked up what's drawing a blank. Played for Seattle last year.
Yeah, the guy from Seattle. Yeah, something
Brown. Right, Brown.
Something. Yeah, I can't think his name, but yeah, that guy there.
I'm drawing a blank myself, but I want to see, can they consistently bring pressure? Can they consistently get a guy? Can they give one guy that gives me 10 sacks this year? That's what I really am interested to see.
Raheem Brown. Yeah. I believe if Grenard stayed healthy last year, he would have had double-digit sacks. I would say probably 12 or 13, but just couldn't stay healthy. So hopefully this year is a different story. From the talks I seen at camp, he's 100% better. So hopefully he's not another JJ Watt.
Oh man, yeah, JJ definitely was a half man, half amazing out there. Shout out to Vince Carter, but he definitely was at times.
But before we move on from the draft, I think one of the most underrated draft picks, you kind of mentioned a draft in the safety. I can never say his name correctly, but Petrie. Yeah, from Baylor. I think he is probably arguably the best open field tackler in college last year, and probably one of the best tacklers as a corner safety or whatever you want out of college last year. Run defense was a big need that we needed on his team, and I think he, to me, he kind of reminds me of a Peanut Tillman type, where he can tackle, and hopefully Lovey can help him poke the ball out like he did Peanut. So
yeah, he got to be all over the field. They can't just play him as safety. He got to do like he was in college, play every position. Because if they make him just stay safety, I don't think he's gonna be that good. But if he plays all over the field, it's gonna be damn good.
Yeah. And I think,
badly.
I think that was and a lot of teams had him going between 25 and 32. So I mean, we got him in the second round. So that was a pick. But thanks to the Patriots for picking up a lineman nobody's heard of. So
Yeah, actually, I've heard of that guy, but
really?
He's actually maybe about 2 hours, 2.5 hours up the road to the east in Chattanooga. So actually, again, listening to Teron Davenport's show, he actually brought him on as a prospect in the NFL draft. That's the only reason I knew who that guy was when he got drafted.
Okay. So were you surprised when the Patriots picked him first round?
No, I wasn't surprised that Cole Strange went to the Patriots because that's a Patriots thing to do.
Right. But anybody else, you've been surprised, right?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, moving on. Week 7, week 16, I believe. I could be wrong, but the Titans and Texans matchup. I'll start with you, Crenshaw. What do you see? Do you see a sweep by the Titans? Do you see a surprise sweep by the Texans? Or was it kind of like last year, 1-1?
It's going to be a split. It's going to be a split. You know, division games are always hard. Don't matter if you're a good team. Don't matter if you're a bad team. But I can see Ryan Tannehill, I'm sorry if I'm saying his name wrong, throwing multiple interceptions again. I think we're going to bait them. And we're gonna win in Jacksonville but lose at home.
You mean Tennessee?
Damn, I said Tennessee. Damn. Yeah, Tennessee. Okay. Tennessee. And Jacksonville, we're gonna sweep y'all. So
Yeah.
All right.
Mike, what do you say?
Here's what all right. I'll see. I think the Texans might get swept this year.
Okay.
Here's why I think that. Because last year, I believe the Titans are still thinking about that home egg they laid. But Tyrod Taylor just went crazy on them, and they won again. And the Texans won here. And I think they'll win this game in Nashville by at least 10 points. But I think the game in Houston, which it always is a close game. And they'll win by a field goal. It'll be a close game. It always is a close game when the Titans and the Texans play in Houston. It always is.
Well,
yeah, you're right.
Not in 2017 when they put a 50+ on the Titans, but
But yeah. I hear
56-17, sorry, 56-17.
Oh yeah, that was one of those games you watch and you like peeking through your hands like really.
We got a comment say I say split. They split. Yeah, I have to agree. I think we split. I am the opposite of Crenshaw. I think we lose at Tennessee and we win at home. I get what you're saying, Mike, but the year before last when Romeo Crennel was head coach, we still won both of those games. But he's I don't know what he was thinking. We're going for it. 2-point conversion instead of kicking the field goal. But we should have won that one. And then last year, we should have swept y'all. But we had David Coley, Urban Myers 2.0. Just, not calling the right plays in the first half. If he opened up the playbook like he did the second half with Davis Mills was toasting y'all the second half. And if he would have brought that fire the first half, I think we would have, because I thought the game was over, and then all of a sudden I was like, "Hey." So,
I'm still kind of irritated with how Coley was let go. I still have issue with that, but because if you listen to how things were explained, he literally was calling things that Nick Caserio wanted because Nick Caserio was in his headset. So to me, it's almost like the fix was in for him to not be the coach. But again, it is what it is now. It's over. But he got paid. I just don't. He got paid. Yeah, I give him that.
And nobody picked him up since we let him go.
Well, I hear you there. But the thing is, honestly, did I think he should have been the head coach to start to begin with?
Exactly.
No.
Right. Exactly.
But the thing that ended up happening was, just me outside looking in. So, of course, I don't know all the intricacies that went into it. But I think they picked him up as a last-ditch effort to try to keep Deshaun Watson. Said, hey,
exactly
Deshaun,
what it was.
we got a coach,
Yeah,
man. We got a coach, man. So,
Exactly.
that's – and then when it didn't happen, they were like, well, we got to figure some way out of this. So, hey, Cesario, you're going to stay in the headset. You're going to let him do this, that, and the other. We're going to bring him, kind of a poo-poo team. We're going to bring
yes
in
man.
a lot of guys on one-year deals, a yes man, and then we're going to pay him at the end and go away. So ultimately, I just don't think he was necessarily put in the greatest situation to succeed. And secondly, I don't think, he necessarily should have been named the head coach to begin with, because it didn't really seem like they believed in him from the start.
Nobody ever heard of this guy, man. Like, who is this guy?
Right? Nobody ever heard of John Harbaugh either, and hey, he's been pretty successful in Baltimore.
Well, but Baltimore is known for drafting well, though. We're not known for drafting well. Baltimore always have a good draft, a good defense year after year. I mean, this year they killed them in the draft. I mean, they got Kyle Hamilton and they got the big guy from Georgia. So that's just their team. Us,
I can see where you're coming from and kind of agree, but also you can see we lost 3 to 4 games, including the Patriots, the Browns, the Titans again because of a David Culley call. So Miami. I can see Miami. So I can see why he was fired, but I can also see you kind of hit the nail on the coffin too. That wasn't their guy. I believe it was Lovie Smith all to begin with, but like you said, they wanted to save face with Deshaun Watson, and that's the only thing I kind of don't like about Nick Caserio is the way he does things. Like this whole offseason with the head coach, everybody thought it was Flores. Everybody thought it was the backup quarterback. What's his name? McCown.
Josh.
Yeah, and then
trust. It would have been McCown if it would have been McCown. I actually asked a few questions about that, to be honest. It was pretty close to being him at one point.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's what we got too. And then all of a sudden at the end of the night it was Lovie Smith. So that's one thing I wish Caserio wouldn't do, but as long as you make my team good, I'll forgive you at the end of the day. Before we move on, somebody answered your question earlier, Mike, about the pass rush. He said Washington gets suspended all season. Browns only going to win 3 games. Texans will draft Will Anderson Jr., Browns' 3rd pick. Would that help?
I think Will might be the first pick, man.
Hey, we'll see what happens. You also got to remember that somebody always comes out of the darkness that nobody thinks of. So, everybody's mentioning all these names, but there's going to be some name that we haven't heard of that's going to show up and be a top 5 draft pick next year.
Always, every year. Before we end the show and move on, me and Chris, I'll probably have a couple questions for you. My question is, what is your take on Davis Mills? Do you think he has the potential to be the real deal, or is he just a flash in the pan, one night burner?
Honestly, I don't know what he's going to be honest. I do see some of the things that a lot of people see with the the strong arm, standing in the pocket, those type of things. But then I also see instances where he's still a young quarterback and he makes some mistakes and make you scratch your head. But one thing I in talking to a few people that I've been told is that he's walking around a lot more confidence this year, a little bit more swagger about himself, because he knows he is the starting quarterback and he knows it's his job. So take that for what it's worth. I think, that might be something that kind of gets us to see either the real him this year or the real him from last year when he was fumbling over himself sometimes. So, the jury's still out, but, I definitely think he has the ability to be the guy.
Awesome. Chris, you have a question for Mike before we move on?
No,
I mean,
no.
you have some hot, spicy ones earlier, so I mean, I can tell you don't have no more. But
Nah, man. Oh yeah, okay. What's your prediction for the Titans this year?
I'll say they'll at least go 10-7.
okay,
And
what's your
what
prediction for the
round?
Texans?
So what round?
Yeah, what round they're gonna go? They're gonna get past the first round. They're gonna second
Yeah,
round. What you think?
they'll be a wild card team, and then I believe they either make the division round. I think they win the wild card game this time around.
Okay,
Okay.
and last
Well,
one.
the first
How
game I should say this time
first?
around.
Okay, last one. How pissed was you when y'all lost that game to the Bengals?
Honestly, I wasn't pissed at all because I do cover the Titans and I do live in Nashville.
But it's not your
But
team.
however, that's not my favorite team.
What is your
But
favorite team?
my favorite team actually is the 49ers.
Oh,
So
okay. So
I'm
how
actually,
pissed was you when the 49ers lost then?
I mean, honestly, I was not extremely pissed as much as people would think I would be. I mean, we made it further than I actually thought we would make
Me
it.
too.
Me too.
So,
No
especially with
offense.
Jimmy Garoppolo commandeering the team. But, as far as the Titans, I'll say this. I like the 49ers. That's my team, but I do support the Titans because that's the hometown team. When the hometown team is doing good, the whole town is like, it's a different air about the town when the Titans are doing good. So,
Right.
it was pretty dang sad, and it was a lot of lonely faces and everything. People walking out of the stadium that night. It was I mean, literally, you could not hear any words of any fans walking back to their cars. It was that bad.
Ooh, rough.
Hold on, man.
Go ahead.
Why is it on my mind? What do you think of Trey Lance?
Honestly, I think he has all the ability. It's just a matter of getting the repetitions. Basically, with him, I mean, you're with a guy that actually has made offenses great with Matt Ryan and of course, with the Jimmy G, you make an offense great with the running game. So now you had a quarterback with probably the best set of skills you've had since like maybe a RG3 when you were in Washington, D.C.
He made Matt Schaub look good too in Houston. So.
Yeah, he definitely did. So, I'm not worried about Trey Lance. The thing I look at with him, he has something that a lot of the quarterbacks that Shanahan hasn't, that Kyle Shanahan haven't had. That's a rocket for an arm. I mean, he literally can roll out and just stop, boom, throw it all the way across his body, 30, 40 yards down the field and be right on the money. So, that aspect is something that he's never had in terms of Kyle Shanahan. So it's going to open up that offense. And I think that he'll do well. I think Trey Lance will do well. Just provide he stays within the aspects of what he needs to do. It doesn't start, freelancing out there.
Why more people?
No pun intended. On freelance, by the way.
That's what JJ Watt did his whole career here. But why are people more high on Trey Lance than Davis Mills? Is because he's a first round pick? Because both of them barely played in college. So why does he get more of like he's the next great guy, and then Davis Mills is like they got him like ranked 40th out of 32 quarterbacks, and he's ranked 40th. And so I'm trying to understand that right there.
Oh, I can tell you why. A lot of people get drunk with the athleticism, man. The athleticism and the things he can do. A lot of people get drunk with that instead of actually seeing the actual things he has done on the field. Which when Trey Lance was out there, he got injured a couple times. He threw a couple good passes and he made a couple.
He looked good against the Texans, so I mean, I would give him that.
But it's the thing is with him is he still got to learn and grow. And with Davis Mills, they saw a couple games where he had bad plays, and they kind of blew those up to be that's Davis Mills. And then on the other end, Trey Lance, they saw the athleticism and the special plays he made, and then forgot about other plays where he just dropped the ball. So it's kind of like just a matter of the perspective and the vision with which you see, and them not seeing it at an even plane, seeing one too high and one too low. That's where I get it.
Okay.
All right. Well, before we end the show, I got a two question for you. What do you think the Texans record is going to be And are they the worst team in football?
Let's see. Well, until the Jets are extradited out of the NFL, the Jets will probably lay that claim. But as far as the Texans, I'll give them. Honestly, I can see them. About 6-11. I can see them at 6-11.
All right, I'll take it. But you agree they're not the worst team in football right now?
No. The Jets are still the Jets, and I hate that for my guy Robert Saleh. But, geez, man, I mean, I'm hearing word that Zach Wilson's still missing targets, man, and they really ain't moving that much. Come on, man.
And the Bears and Giants ain't looking too good either. But
I think the Bears will be all right this year. They'll be better, but I ain't gonna say they're gonna be the worst team in the league. Nah. I think our guy up there at quarterback is gonna make some things shake. Hopefully.
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh, I will say this though too.
Go
I will
ahead.
say this though about the Texans. Look out for how Pep Hamilton makes Davis Mills looks good this year. Because I mean, honestly, if Pep Hamilton makes this work with Mills, like he did with Andrew Luck and all the other quarterbacks he's worked with, I think he should be a head coach. It's past due.
Exactly. 110% agreed.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Mike. Well, man, it's been a pleasure having you on. Why don't you tell our listeners where we can find you at on social media and what you got going on in the weeks to come?
All right. Well, you can find me on Twitter at Mike Patton 82. You can probably you can find me on Twitter at Mike Patton 82. You can find me, of course, on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, and all those different places. iHeartRadio with my show Touring the AFC South. Got a Saints fan coming on tomorrow night, but we're going to talk a little Saints and a little AFC South as well. And let's see what else we got coming on. I got a few special guests in my bag that a lot of people might know. Like, well, I'll say the previous show I had Steve Weiss from the NFL Network on. So.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So I've had a few special guests, like maybe a Jim Trotter or some other people of that nature. So I've definitely been dipping in the bag to bring out some special guests for people. In July is definitely not going to be any different because I've got a special guest coming in July. If everything lines up, that a lot of people know. I mean, a lot of people.
All right. Well, we'll make sure to keep an eye on that and announce it. Always looking forward to good stuff like that. Crenshaw, where can we find you at?
Fifth Ward Crenshaw.
And as always, you can find me as A1 Day One Texans, and you can find the podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok on Texas Fan Battle. And you can find the podcast everywhere on major platform you listen podcast on. Again, Mike, thank you for coming on. We need to do this
Appreciate
again.
you.
It was fun.
Hey, thanks for having me.
All right, guys. Well, y'all have a good night, and we'll see you next week.
All right, peace.